took my broken wings and learned how to fly. All of my life I have waited for this moment to rise. Blackbird singing in the dead of night. I took my sunken eyes and taught my own self how to see. All of my life I have waited for this moment to be free. Into the light of the cold, dark night. Blackbird singing in the dead of night. I took my broken wings and taught my own self how to fly. All of my life I have waited for this moment to arrive. All of my life I have waited and waited and waited for this moment to be free. I'm telling these tears go and fall away, fall away. Oh, may the last one burn into flames. Freedom, freedom, I can't move. Freedom, cut me loose. Yeah. Freedom, freedom, where are you? 'Cause I need freedom too. I break chains all by myself. Won't let my freedom rot in hell. Hey, I'ma keep on running 'cause the winner don't quit on themselves. I'ma wade through the waters till the tide don't move. I'ma riot through your borders. Call me bulletproof. Lord, forgive me, I've been running blind in truth. I'ma wade through your shallow love till the deep I'm new. I'm telling these tears go and fall away, fall away. Oh, may the last one burn into flames. Freedom, freedom, I can't move. Freedom, cut me loose. Yeah. Freedom, freedom, where are you? 'Cause I need freedom too. I break chains all by myself. Won't let my freedom rot in hell. Hey, I'ma keep on running 'cause the winner don't quit on themselves.
Ten Hail Marys, I meditate for practice. Channel 9 News tell me I'm moving backwards. 8 blacks left, deaf is around the corner. 7 misleading statements about my persona. 6 headlights waving in my direction. Come on. 5-0 asking me what's in my possession. Yeah, I keep running, jumping the aqueducts, fire hydrants and hazardous smoke alarms on the back of us. But mama, don't cry for me, ride for me, try for me, live for me, breathe for me, sing for me, honestly guiding me. I can be more than I gotta be, stole from me, lied to me, nation hypocrisy, code on me, driving me wicked. My spirit inspired me like, yeah. Open correctional gates in high desert. Yeah. Open our mind as we cast away oppression. Open the streets and watch our beliefs. And when they carve my name inside the concrete, I pray it forever reads.
Freedom, freedom, I can't move. Freedom, cut me loose. Yeah. Freedom, freedom, where are you? 'Cause I need freedom too. I break chains all by myself. Won't let my freedom rot in hell. Hey, I'ma keep on running 'cause the winner don't quit on themselves.
What you want from me? Is it true? You see, I'll father get in there. What you want from me? Is it true? You see, I'll father get in there. In there.
I had my ups and downs, but I always find the inner strength to pull myself up. I was served lemons, but I made lemonade.
Oh, where have you been, my blue-eyed son? And where have you been, my darling young one? I've stumbled on the side of 12 misty mountains. I've walked and I crawled on 6 crooked highways. I've stepped in the middle of 7 side forests. I've been out in front of a dozen dead oceans. I've been 10,000 miles in the mouth of a graveyard. And it's a hard, it's a hard, it's a hard, it's a hard, it's a hard rain. gonna fall. Oh, what did you see, my blue-eyed son? And what did you see, my darling young one? I saw a newborn baby with wild wolves all around it. I saw highway diamonds with nobody on it. I saw a black branch with blood that kept dripping. I saw a room full of men with their hammers a-bleeding. I saw a white ladder all covered with water. I saw 10,000 talkers whose tongues were all broken. I saw guns and sharp swords in the hands of young children. And it's a hard, and it's a hard, rain they're gonna fall. Oh, what did you hear, my blue-eyed son? And what did you hear, my darling young one? I heard the sound of a thunder that roared out a warning. I heard the roar of a wave that could drown the whole world. I heard 100 drummers whose hands were ablazing. I heard 10,000 whispering and nobody listening. I heard one person starve, I heard many people laughing. I heard the song of a poet who died in the gutter. I heard the sound of a clown who cried in the alley. And it's a hard rains are gonna fall. Oh, what did you meet, my blue-eyed son? And who did you meet, my darling young one? I met a young child beside a dead pony. I met a white man who walked a black dog. I met a young woman whose body was burning. I met a young girl, she gave me a rainbow. I met one man who was wounded in love. I met another man who was wounded in hatred. And it's a hard rains are gonna fall. And what'll you do now, my blue-eyed son? And what'll you do now, my darling young one? I'm a-going back out for the rain starts a-falling. I'll walk to the depths of the deepest dark forest, where the people are many and their hands are all empty, where the pellets of poison are flooding their waters, where the home in the valley meets the damp, dirty prison, and the executioner's face is always well hidden, where hunger is ugly, where the souls are forgotten, where black is the color, where none is the number, and I'll tell it and speak it and think it and breathe it, and reflect from the mountain so all souls can see it. And I'll stand on the ocean until I start sinking, but I'll know my song well before I start singing. And it's a hard, it's a hard, it's a hard, and it's a hard rains are gonna fall.
Happy Monday. Good morning.
Hi, I'm Nigel Furlonge, and I'm the head of school at Montclair Kimberley Academy. I was born in Toronto, Ontario. We moved to Boston when I was 8 years old, and that's where I grew up and went to high school. Went to college in Philadelphia, University of Pennsylvania. Right out of college, I took a job at the Holderness School, which is a boarding school in the White Mountains. I started as a history teacher, started coaching basketball and soccer. So I was the co-chair of the diversity program at Holderness School when I was 21 years old. I count my blessings all the time that I happened to be in the schools for the first 13 years of my career, for which community, educational values, integrity, honor, leadership, those kinds of ideas, those kinds of concepts were interwoven into the daily life of the school. In terms of my leadership style, I think I learn and listen and lead in equal measure. Leading with purpose around our shared community values, and then continuing to engage our institution and ourselves at the edge of our growth. That's what we're going to do moving forward. I think about what does it look like when our students walk across the stage, the literal stage, but the metaphorical stage in terms of the transitions that they'll see between pre-K and senior year. Do they think critically? Really well? Are they sophisticated communicators? Do they problem solve? Do they reason analytically? Do they ask questions, generative questions, of themselves and of the world beyond them? Are they empathetic? Have they grown a sense of belonging and value? That's what collectively we imagine the promise to be. MKA is inspirational. MKA is aspirational. MKA is a community at full stretch. MKA is where academic excellence resides.
All right, have a good day.
The number 5 symbolizes freedom, curiosity, and change, a desire to have adventures and explore new possibilities. Good afternoon, and welcome to the investiture of Nigel D. Furlonge as Montclair Kimberley Academy's 5th head of school. There are many special guests here today, but I wanted to specifically welcome Nigel's parents, Yvette and McDonald Furlonge. Welcome to MKA. So for those of you who don't know me, my name is Kate Logan, and I'm the president of the Board of Trustees at MKA. My husband Edmund and I are also proud MKA parents of Joshua Logan Rung, class of 13, and Jonathan Logan Rung, class of 14. Josh and John started their MKA journey in 2000 at the primary school, and today I'm delighted to say that they are men of honesty, integrity, and place being fair and just above all else. Those characteristics were developed and sharply honed in these halls with help, support, and influence by the many people in this room. An investiture is a ceremony in which someone is given an official title. That is true. However, this ceremony is clearly more than just that. This is a significant moment in the school's history and a celebration of a very special person, Nigel Furlonge, who will lead us forward in unity and purpose. We welcome him, his wife Nicole, their children Logan, Lucas, and Wyatt to our community. And we celebrate the official start of Mr. Furlonge's tenure at MKA. I believe all leadership changes are crucial, but this one is especially important given the intense and accelerating complexities facing independent schools today. Nigel Furlonge is a deeply empathetic, humble, and thoughtful community builder, and he has dedicated his career to both academic excellence and inclusivity. A history scholar and a teacher at heart, Mr. Furlonge is a growth-minded educator who brings to MKA his passion for teaching and learning. Great leadership requires a fine mix of skills to create the conditions for engagement, for happiness and performance, and empathy. And recent research concludes that the top skill that leaders should have in 2021 is empathy, and to get that right. Mr. Furlonge, he gets it right because he is someone who listens, who learns, who leads. This afternoon, as we're formally investing Mr. Furlonge with title of head of school, we will hear from the co-directors of the primary school, the division heads at middle and upper, a dear friend of the Furlonges, who is also an educator, students from each campus, our senior faculty member, upper school musical groups, and Mr. Furlonge himself. Bearing witness to all of this is our community of colleagues, friends, and families, who are also an important part of this moment in our school's history. We are deeply, deeply grateful that each and every one of you have gathered with us today, whether in person or via live stream, to be part of this celebration. Welcome, and thank you so much for being here.
The number 5 occurs throughout nature. All leaves take the approximate form of a pentagon.
Many flowers have a base of 5 petals in the form of the 5-pointed star. I'm Margaret Gonzalez, one of the co-directors.
And I'm Maureen Bates, and together we are the co-directors of MKA's primary school. To celebrate and welcome our new head of school, the primary school has a gift related to nature. Earlier today, Nigel visited our campus and planted a white dogwood tree in our outdoor classroom.
We have 2 special guests who helped plant the tree. We are so happy to introduce the oldest member of our 3rd grade class, Jack Crossan, and the youngest member of our pre-K class, Rudy Jordan. This morning, they added soil to help the tree grow using their buckets and trowels.
Hello, Mr. Furlonge. Welcome to MKA.
We planted a tree in your honor as our new head of school. Like our school, a tree grows stronger every year. And as the tree grows, so will MKA.
Thank you. Thank you, Rudy and Jack. Very nicely done. Come on. You may leave the stage with us. Thank you.
Good afternoon. There are 5 rings in the Olympic symbol. And those rings represent the union and cooperation of the 5 major regions of the world, the 5 continents at the time: Africa, the Americas, Asia, Europe, and Oceania. Hello, I'm Randy Kleinman, head of middle school. It's an honor to help represent the middle school in welcoming Nigel Furlonge as the 5th head of school of Montclair Kimberley Academy, and it's my pleasure to welcome the Furlonge family to our community. I'd now like to introduce Sammy Tokat, middle school student government president, and Sani Bansal, middle school student government vice president, who will share some thoughts on behalf of the middle school.
Hello, everyone. My name is Sammy Tokat, and I'm the middle school student body president. Today, we are here to celebrate our new head of school, Mr. Furlonge. First, let's ask ourselves the question, what makes MKA so special? MKA is an extraordinary place, not just because we are all dreamers, but because we are also all leaders and advocates. We face adversity head-on and use it to make us stronger. We always seek for change, even if it might be scary at times. Instead of wondering what can be, we ask ourselves, how can we achieve this? If we continue to have this culture at MKA, there will always be righteousness and community. And most importantly, there will always be progress. Because progression and justice will always be present in the fists of the advocates and in the hearts of the dreamers. Mr. Furlonge perfectly embodies the balance of both being a dreamer and a leader. We are very lucky to have Mr. Furlonge as our new head of school. I can hear change humming in its loudest, proudest song.
I don't fear change coming, and so I sing along. Hello, faculty, parents, and students. My name is Sania Bansal, and I am the student body vice president of the middle school. I'm so very honored to be here with all of you today as we celebrate this momentous occasion. This time represents a change in our school, a wonderful change, a symbolic change. MKA values knowledge, vision, and integrity, 3 great truths that never die. Every day we ask ourselves, do you have that integrity? Do you have those values connected to inclusivity, values connected to honor, and values connected to respect? Recently, Sammy and I received the opportunity to sit down with Mr. Furlonge and have a conversation with him so that we could get to know him better, and we are extremely lucky to have him here. Mr. Furlonge is going to be our 5th head of school. That for us is a big deal, and we are all looking forward to getting to know him better in our years to come here at MKA. We present to him our gift on behalf of the middle school student body, Change Sings.
Good afternoon. Number 5, 1948, by Jackson Pollock, brought a whole new influence to abstract expressionism by giving this painting a number instead of a name, and through his unconventional painting style, Pollock wanted to inspire different emotions in those viewing it. My name is Dave Flacco. I'm head of the upper school and assistant head of school for strategic initiatives. And I'd like to introduce Trusha Jarawala, a member of the senior class. Ms. Jarawala has been at MKA since 6th grade and is a peer leader, the senior class secretary, co-head of the Philosophy Club, and co-chair of the Student Diversity Leadership Committee. She is here to say a few words on behalf of the upper school student body and present our gift to Mr. Furlonge to mark this special occasion. Trusha?
Thank you, Dr. Flacco. It's an honor to be standing before you all today, representing the upper school student body as we celebrate the investiture of Mr. Furlonge. I'd like to welcome Mr. Furlonge's family and friends, MK's Board of Trustees, and all of MK's faculty and staff to the upper school. It's a pleasure to have you all. Before I present our gift to you, I'd like to offer some words of welcome on behalf of the upper school student body as well. At the upper school, we have always appreciated the presence of the head of school on campus. The familiar face and warmth of a head of school for students creates a stronger sense of belonging, where each student is not only seen and heard, but also appreciated. We hope to see you as often as you can make it up here, and we certainly hope you enjoyed seeing a little of what some of our Friday afternoons look like up here earlier during Synergy. On behalf of the upper school student body, I'd like to welcome you to our community and look forward to experiencing this year together. This fall, the Studio Arts Honors class at the upper school, of which Mr. Furlonge's daughter Logan is a member, was handed a picture. This picture, originally taken by Mr. Todd Smith, our athletic director, back in the winter of 2019, is of the head of school's residence at 36 Lloyd Road and was posted to the MK Athletics Instagram page. From the picture, the class embarked on a collaborative effort to welcome Mr. Furlonge and his family to the MKA community through a multi-layered watercolor painting of their new home on the campus. This painting, through its many washes of color, patterns, and unique marks, embodies a sense of community and collaboration. Our one-of-a-kind effort will reflect yours at MKA. Welcome to our school, Mr. Furlonge.
Good afternoon. There are 5 members of the immediate Furlonge family who are excited to join the MKA family. Nigel, our children Logan, Lucas, Wyatt, and me. I'm Nicole Furlonge, proud spouse of Nigel and proud mom of our 3 children. I am also director of the Klingenstein Center for Independent and International School Leadership and professor at Columbia's Teachers College. I have the pleasure and the privilege right now of introducing you to Phil Peck. We've known Phil for 27 years as a mentor and a friend, so there's so much I could share with you about him. But in keeping with our numeric thread of 5, I will share my top 5 list of cool facts about Phil Peck. Number 1, Phil has been the head of Holderness School in Plymouth, New Hampshire since 2001, and is enjoying his last year of headship. He has led Holderness through multiple strategic planning processes, reimagined campus, implemented a comprehensive professional learning program for faculty, increased the school's level of financial aid, and made more visible the rich intellectual life of the school. Number 2, at Dartmouth, Phil studied history and Russian literature while skiing on an NCAA champion ski team. He later served as assistant coach to the U.S. Nordic ski team at the World Cup and at the Olympic Games in Sarajevo. Number 3, Phil actually hired Nigel and me twice. First, when he was dean of faculty at Holderness, and second, as head of school. Number 4, Phil has been a fellow at the Klingenstein Center, earned his master's in educational leadership there, and has subsequently taught in Klingenstein programs impacting independent school educator leaders throughout the United States and globally. And number 5, Phil is a proud spouse to wife Robin, dad to 2 wonderful young women who we watched grow up, deeply loves learning, is definitely a dog person, and leads with humility and inclusive vision and a smile. We are thrilled that you could join us and play such an important part in today's investiture. Please join me in welcoming Phil Peck, head of school at the Holderness School.
Thank you, Nicole. You're very kind. I have to just say, and I want to thank the students and the presentation here. And one of the things that Nigel has shared with me is how fortunate he feels to be part of a rich, caring community. And you all certainly exude that in my short time on campus so far. So I'm really good to be here, and I'm super honored to have the opportunity to share some thoughts about Nigel on this really special day. So, as Nicole said, I've known Nigel for more than 25 years in a variety of capacities in education. Twice, as Nicole said, as a colleague, as his as his teacher in the summer Klingenstein program, as a dear friend, as my boss. He was on the Holderness Board of Trustees for 7 years. As a truly exceptional associate head of school from 2015 to 18, and as a lifelong role model and mentor, which all of you will see over time. Nigel's one of the most exceptional educators I've had the opportunity to observe and work with in my 38 years in independent school education. I've never worked with or for anyone who blended tremendous personal integrity, a passion to always be learning, a love of people, and superb communication skills better than Nigel. Now, my feelings at Nigel might be a little biased, but they're also informed by the work that I did in my dissertation, which was, what are the attributes that make the best head of school? And through my research, I had the chance to have conversations with some of the most respected and exceptional heads of school in the country. When asked what the most important qualities are to be a superb head of school, 6 qualities rose to the top. 1 was courage. 2, equanimity in face of crisis. 3, drive to serve. 4, communicates effectively. 5, inspires not only students but adults. And 6, above all else, is a learner. I'll go through each of them quickly, just a paragraph. The first competency, courage. Part of Nigel's personal integrity is his courage. This quality was immediately evident in 1994, when as a brand new dean of faculty at Holderness, Nigel was my first hire. Now, Nigel was also the first black teacher in Holderness's history. And of course, he dove in addition to teaching and coaching and dorm parenting and doing the countless other things that you have to do in a boarding school. Nigel was our first director of equity and inclusion. For most 21-year-olds, this would be a recipe for disaster, right? Not for Nigel. Wise beyond his years, and with a quiet but indomitable energy, which you all will experience daily, Nigel courageously embraced this challenge. Under Nigel's leadership, he established a vision for a truly multicultural community. That vision we still embrace and are daily working to achieve 25 years later. As associate head of school, Nigel had the courage to compassionately but firmly make countless tough calls. Nigel has the courage to do what's right for the community, not what is easy. Second competency, equanimity in the face of crisis. Very relevant today, right? Well, Nigel Furlonge, if you haven't noticed, is unflappable. I've watched Nigel for 27 years deal with countless challenges and crises. And while Nigel cares deeply about each of these situations, he can be counted on to be clear-headed and composed. In fact, to this day, I appreciate being able to bring my own crises, whether personal or school-related, to Nigel, because he never gives an impetuous or rash answer, and he always imparts wisdom. I've never worked with a person who is more reassuring in times of crisis, and in today's world, that quality is more important than ever. 3, driven to serve. Another area of Nigel's personal integrity that aligned with my research is that great heads of school are driven to serve their schools, but they also have incredible personal humility. This quality is perhaps best explained to me in Race Matters when Cornel West said, "Humility is the fruit of inner security and wise maturity. To be humble is to be so sure of oneself and one's mission that one can forego calling excessive attention to oneself and status. And more importantly, to be humble is to revel in the accomplishments of others." This statement accurately describes Nigel Furlonge. No question, he is driven to lead and serve, but it is never about him. He always puts others first, and he relishes in their accomplishments, as you can see his pride in the students a few minutes ago. The 4th competency, great heads of school are superb communicators. Linked to the above quality, having been a head of school for 21 years and observed heads of school throughout the country, it seems to me that the two of the most important qualities of successful heads is that they are not letting their egos getting in the way, exuding personal humility, and they're effective communicators. As stated above, Nigel is somebody who never lets his ego get in the way, but equally important, he's an excellent communicator. Nigel is always precise and gracious in both speaking and writing. Nigel communicates a genuine interest and care in others. And you get that sense when Nigel and his care for you when you're on one-to-one meetings, that ability to connect, to let you know that you truly matter, whether he's speaking to you one-on-one or, as you'll see in a few minutes, when he's speaking to many of us. The 5th competency connects and inspires not only students, but adults. The reason that Nigel is so good here is that he believes in people's potential. That is true for Nigel's students, like Angel and Matt, who may be here today. It's also true for the countless colleagues and division heads that Nigel's worked with in 4 really wonderful schools. And it's true for the Summer Institute, where he led the history teachers, those teachers. Nigel has, the other thing about him is that he had that impact on me as head of school when he was one of my board members and thus one of my bosses, and walked me through some really tough times as a head of school. And he was by my side for 3 years as the associate head of school, always believing, always pushing in really good ways. But that belief in you is something that Nigel exudes and inspires his students, his colleagues, and his board members. The 6th competency, and the one that every single head that I interviewed cited, is being a learner. All remarkable heads that I interviewed agreed with the educational leadership researcher Roland Barth, who said the principal, the head of school, should be the principal learner in their schools. Not only is this quality great role modeling for students, colleagues, and board members, but it also ensures that the school that this person leads will never be complacent. Nigel is a passionate learner, and he has a contagious growth mindset. Look at the courage and sincere desire to learn and grow that Nigel had when he remade himself in different professional positions over recent years. taking on leadership responsibilities in several exceptional schools. And now, the capstone for Nigel is to be the 5th head at Montclair Kimberley Academy. I guarantee you will love learning with and from Nigel every day, because he will model that for you. It's needless to say, Nigel possesses all these competencies in abundance. He is the full leadership package. You are getting a truly remarkable person and leader to serve and guide your wonderful school. Now, finally, in closing, I want to share one more quality and one of the things I love about Nigel as a leader. Leading schools for Nigel is not a job. It's a lifestyle that he embraces. It brings him great joy, and thus he brings joy to all those who are blessed to be with him. When I think of Nigel as a leader and a person, I'm reminded of the closing stanzas in Robert Frost's poem, Two Tramps in Mud Time, a very northern New England poem, right? That poem finishes, "My object in living is to unite my vocation and my avocation, as my two eyes make one in sight. For only where love and need are one, and work is play for mortal stakes, is the deed ever done for heaven and the future's sakes." No question, with Nigel, work is play, but he recognized the importance that work is for mortal stakes. And he does that work for heaven and the future's sakes. Those sakes are the current and future students and employees at Montclair Kimberley Academy. Hold on, Montclair Kimberley Academy. You're ready. Get ready for a joyful journey of a lifetime under the capable leadership of Nigel Furlonge. Congratulations to Nigel, and congratulations to the Montclair Kimberley Academy for making such an inspirational choice for your 5th head of school. Congratulations.
The Board of Trustees of a school is responsible for governing the institution effectively and ensuring its continued strength, growth, and ability to prosper into the future. The members are called trustees because they manage the school and hold it in trust for the benefit of not just the current students, but importantly, for future generations. It is said that the most important single decision that the Board of Trustees makes is the selection of the next head of school. For they are the single person who reports directly to the board and through whom the school's mission is advanced each and every day. Until today, in our school's history, the board has exercised this power just 4 times. We gather here today to do so for the 5th head of school. The product of a merger of 3 different schools, Montclair Academy, the Kimberley School, the Brookside School. Montclair Kimberley Academy was established in 1974 under the leadership of Richard Ward Day. Dr. Francis O'Connor was the second leader, followed by Dr. Peter Greer, and most recently, Thomas Nemec. At Montclair Kimberley Academy, academic excellence is at the core of our educational experience, fulfilling our mission to create a diverse, collaborative, and inclusive community inspires students to lead lives of noble character, purpose, and distinction. An authentic leader, fully aligned with MKA's mission and beliefs, Nigel Furlonge will help us to uphold our most valued traditions and lead our growth in transformative ways. Mr. Furlonge, I'd like you to join me at the podium, please. Evidence of our mission is found in the knowledge, the vision, and the integrity of our students and our alumni. Mr. Furlonge, will you uphold MKA's mission and safeguard for all members of our community the pursuit of knowledge as it is represented in academic excellence, intellectual excellence, and the love of learning?
I will.
Mr. Furlonge, will you uphold MKA's mission and safeguard for all members of our community our collective vision as it is represented in personal engagement with the world, understanding of human complexities, and a sense of humility and compassion?
I will.
Mr. Furlonge, will you uphold MKA's mission and safeguard for all members of our community the pursuit of integrity as it is represented in the strength of character, responsibilities as citizens and leaders, and an honorable and generous life?
I will.
Thank you. Please stay with me. As with any institution that has roots dating back 130 years, there are certain traditions and symbols of our past that we need to continue to acknowledge and to honor. It's interesting that the two most important artifacts in our history are similar in nature. That is, they are bells. Bells can symbolize freedom, as in the American Liberty Bell. Bells are used to call people to worship. They provide peace and joy when used in music. We ring the bell to acknowledge the passage of time, a new beginning, and an ending. In 1937, the Kimberley School was gifted with a set of English handbells, and the young women at that school learned to play the handbells. A tradition that continues even today with our third grade students deliver their musical performances using refurbished Kimberley bells. Today, those gathered here present to you the Kimberley bell for your keeping and protection. The Montclair Academy bell from 1890, actually, was used by Montclair Academy's founder, John George McVicker, to signal the changing of class time. Today, this bell is rung at the beginning of school and the closing of school. Our bell ringing tradition symbolizes all the great teaching and profound learning that occurs on the hill, in the valley, and by the brook. Today, we are gathered, and this community presents to you the Montclair Academy bell for your keeping and protection. These deeply held traditions inspire us, comfort us, guide us, and remind us that we are part of something significant that preceded us and something vitally important that will follow us. On behalf of the Board of Trustees of Montclair Kimberley Academy and the entire community, we entrust you with the responsibility of defending and upholding the mission of Montclair Kimberley Academy. We trust that you will lead this vibrant, visionary school designed to educate and empower our students into an even stronger future. Mr. Furlonge, it is with great pleasure that we formally install you as the 5th head of school at Montclair Kimberley Academy. Mr. Furlong, the podium is yours.
Wow. Good afternoon, everyone. Of course, I hardly know who folks have been talking about today. Listen, on behalf of my entire family, I extend a heartfelt gratitude to everyone in the room, to MKA staff, faculty, board of trustees, families tuning in. We deeply appreciate your support over the past few months. In our move to MKA, I feel so fortunate to have benefited from the wisdom of our 3 generous host families, the MKA Administrative Council, and the amazing family transition team. This transition team, imagined and created by the board, should serve as a model for any independent school onboarding a new head of school. My deepest thanks goes to the president of the board, Kate Logan, who you just heard from, for her unwavering commitment and support of me over the past year, and to MKA for many years as president of the board. My friend, colleague, and mentor, Phil Peck, who you heard from today, he hired me, as he said, when I was 21 years old, with no teaching, no coaching, no residential life experience. I don't know that happens nowadays, but it did back in the 90s. I would not be here without his vision and mentorship for the better part of a quarter of a century. To Logan, Lucas, and Wyatt, our 3 children have stretched us in ways we couldn't have imagined. Their grace, generosity, compassion, and flexibility to go on this journey with their 2 parents that are often pulled in many directions is in and of itself an inspiration to me. Off-roading here a little bit, Nicole reads and reviews everything that I write of significance. She did here. She's terrified right now because she doesn't know what I'm going to say. Two days ago, Lucas, our 9th grader, asked me if it was okay to miss the investiture because he had soccer practice and there's a game tomorrow. I said, listen, cool with me. It'll be recorded. I've been a coach, soccer coach over the years. I get it. Big game tomorrow. Apparently, Nicole weighed in, as she tends to do. Luke, I'm sorry. Your mother went full Iverson on you. We're not talking about practice. We're talking about investiture. Finally, to Nicole, my listening partner, always on the lower frequencies. None of this is possible without you. I'm honored to look out in this room and see so many worlds coming together and the people who were able to be here today in Montclair. My parents, former students, professors who taught me, close friends from high school and college, colleagues and thought partners from schools I've worked in over the years, and simply those amazing friends I'm blessed to know. And to those friends and family members and colleagues that are here via live stream, we can't wait to see you soon. I'm grateful to the members of the extensive MKA community who are also attending via live stream. Thank you all for joining us from where you are. And finally, I want to especially thank all the speakers for their kind remarks today, and particularly the MKA students, Rudy Jack, Sammy, Sani, and Trusha for their gifts and presentations, and everyone on our 3 campuses, by the brook, in the valley, and up here on the hill, who contributed to making the entire day special and memorable. I'm honored and humbled to be invested today as the 5th head of school at Montclair Kimberley Academy. I'm proud to lead this community of well over 1,000 students and to partner with our board, administration, staff, faculty, and each of you to lead grounded in the vision of our founders. The aspiring calls of our present and in our inspiring mission committed to cultivating knowledge, vision, and integrity. I do not stand here alone. I stand on the shoulders of giants. I'm humbled by the sacrifices made by my grandparents and my parents. The choices, the challenges, the hardship, the poverty that they faced as an immigrant family from Trinidad could have been overwhelming. But the love, integrity, vision, and fierce force of nature that describe many of my family members forged me, my siblings who are tuning in from Boston, Trinidad, out in Seattle, and all my familial, our generation, into the people that we are allowed to become in America. From this family, I learned so much that neither books nor schools I went to taught me. Each of these learnings I'll share comes with a story. Can't tell those stories, and maybe those are for another time. But from my grandfather, I learned, don't swerve for a mongoose. You may have to be from Trinidad to understand that, but if you think about it, you can, don't swerve for a mongoose. From my grandmother, I learned the difference between expectations and aspirations. I learned from my mother that love isn't fixed, that love can grow with you, and that love is a choice we make every day. From my father, I learned to ask questions, probing questions. Sorry, that's all right. Probing questions, generative questions, and the difference between the how questions and why questions. From my very large extended family, I learned that having a formal education tells me nothing about a person's intelligence, curiosity, generosity of spirit, compassion, character, or humanity. I also learned, and maybe the most important lesson I learned from family and from many friends along the way, is the importance of being willing to change my mind based on new evidence or reinterpreted old evidence. I learned to shy away from binary thinking, and that perhaps an elegant definition of what it means to be educated is that very ability to change one's mind, to make a different choice, to choose a different path, to love a different love. As I stand here today considering MKA's future, I can't help but reflect on those heads of school who preceded me and their descriptions of this special community. In 2005, during his investiture, Tom Namick spoke of the concept of 3 campuses, 1 school, located, quote, by the brook, in the valley, on the hill. Dr. Peter Greer spoke of how traditions, quote, help us become part of something important that preceded us and will follow us. Dr. Francis O'Connor described MKA as a place where intelligence, warmth, effort, and pride come together for the sole purpose of enriching the newest generation, empowering them with information and skills, strong values, high inspiration, tenacity, and hope. As I begin leading this community through headship, I see a school where vision and integrity breathe life into our students' learning and growth. Academic, artistic, and athletic excellence have been deeply rooted, long-standing hallmarks of an MKA education. We remain rooted firmly in our founding and our traditions. Yet MKA has done and must do more than design for achievement and excellence. If we're going to continue providing a vibrant and transformative MKA education for our students, we need to address the challenges and questions raised today. And we need to do so with a bold, courageous, strategic, and creative spirit. I'm committed to leading a school that sustains the adults that work in it as professional learners and co-designers who find joy in their work and purpose in their life here at MKA. And as much as I want students to thrive academically, I'm equally committed to leading a school that intentionally cultivates intellectual curiosity, capacity, joy, and integrity. Our students, leaders of today and tomorrow, must grow empathy, must embrace integrity, and must have a sense of how they will strategically contribute to making and sustaining an inclusive world. If we make space for such essential learning, we may witness from our students emerge as leaderly citizens, positively impacting this community and the world that stretches from and beyond MKA. In my career as an educator, I've had the absolute privilege and good fortune to serve, learn, and lead in transformative schools, each of them successful and inspiring institutions in their own way. From the White Mountains in New Hampshire, the cornfields in Delaware, the neighborhoods of our capital city in Trenton, and now back again to the Garden State here in Montclair. I've learned that creating and nurturing a school culture that humanely strives for excellence and is self-reflective of its own and our nation's imperfection is possible. The schools our world needs must be intentionally responsive, designed to position students to grow increasingly comfortable with the discomfort involved in stretching towards, grappling with, and complicating the world as it is. While I'm thrilled to embrace the responsibilities of head of school, this work of sustaining and creating for a future MKA is not mine alone. As we authentically say here, we are MKA. This work is our work. Faculty, staff, administration, students, families, trustees, and alumni. In the months and years ahead, I will ask you to wonder with me about these questions. What would a school look like that also asks students to think creatively and complexly about equity and issues of difference, not only on campus, but beyond it? What are the experiences and systems that might allow students to develop a sophisticated sense of empathy, humility, and an awareness of fundamental human environmental struggle, all taking place at a global scale? How might we come to a shared understanding that academic excellence is, in fact, inextricably linked to thinking diversely and centering fairness? How might MKA become the best in the world at steering students toward a leadership journey in search of truth? As historian Howard Zinn reminds us, this is the work, not the future, but of now. Quote, "We don't have to wait for some grand utopian future," Zinn writes. "The future is an infinite succession of presents, and to live now as we think human beings should live in defiance of all of that bad around us is itself a marvelous victory." Or as Toni Morrison writes, elegantly and simply, "Look where your hands are now." I'm eager to collaborate with my new school home as we together imagine and design ways for MKA to remain grounded in our mission and values while centering innovative, dynamic approaches to inclusion, belonging, and student well-being. I'm committed to learning and leading our community into imaginative, curiosity-filled, other-centered, courageous spaces. MKA will strive for academic, athletic, and artistic excellence, but with a humility learned through being process and journey-driven leaders. As we imagine the possibilities for such a journey, I'm reminded of another thinker that has influenced me over the years. In his conclusion to resistance to civil government in 1849, Henry David Thoreau writes, quote, "They who know of no purer sources of truth, who have traced up its stream no higher, stand and wisely stand by the Bible and the Constitution, and drink at it there with reverence and humility. But they who behold where it comes trickling into this lake or that pool, gird up their loins once more and continue their pilgrimage towards its fountainhead." For me, this notion invites MKA to a collective pilgrimage, propelling us to find deeper, more complicated truths. It challenges us all to ask questions on top of questions with reverence and humility. If together we choose to make this journey, we need to embrace, too, that not everyone will look like us, think the way we do, or act the way we do. But the journey can give us time and space to work together towards a community grounded in rich complexity. That, to me, is very much a journey worth taking. If we embark on this journey, we will be able to say that not only did we live our mission and values for our students, our families, our faculty, our alumni, and our staff of today, but we will have ensured the existence of a school that in its mission, its vision, its culture, its programs, its policies will support and excite many, many generations to come. And that is a legacy worth leading for. Thank you so much for listening.
Somewhere over the rainbow, way up high, there's a land that I heard of once in a lullaby.
You dare to dream really do come true. Someday I'll wish upon a star, wake up where all the clouds are far behind me, where troubles melt like lemon drops way up above the chimney tops. That's where you'll find me. Oh, somewhere over the
The Chinese philosopher Confucius said, "To practice 5 things under all circumstances constitutes perfect virtue. These 5 are gravity, generosity of soul, sincerity, earnestness, and kindness." Good afternoon. I'm Scott Coronis, and as MKA's senior faculty member of 39 years, I know it's hard to believe. I started when I was 12. I've been asked to give the closing remarks today. It's an honor and a privilege to stand before you, and I can only hope that I meet the standards of class and grace set by my predecessor, George Robb, who retired last year after 52 years of teaching, and who was my first real mentor as an educator. I have no plans to challenge that record. I'll try to make my remarks brief, as I hope to avoid the inglorious experience of having some of you trickle out slowly but surely to get a jump on the Friday traffic home. The 5 elements of perfect virtue I referred to are, in my opinion, essential qualities of a great educator. And while I don't yet know Nigel well, I have already seen these qualities in him as a colleague and a leader. On the first day of school, he certainly demonstrated all 5 when he dove in to help with car line at the end of the day. Yes. If you've never seen a middle school car line after the first day of school, it's not an experience for the faint of heart. Still, there he was, calmly and quietly helping out where he could during the organized chaos. He played an important role by identifying what was needed and jumping in while respecting our process. I was impressed. He even came back to school the next day. That's big. I've also seen Nigel during lunch duty, another highlight of any middle school day, asking questions of the more experienced faculty members and handling students with grace and aplomb. And while I'm not really a stalker, Nigel, I've seen you out running the streets of Montclair on the weekends. It's true. Getting to know your new surroundings and community, and communing with the runner's high that always seemed to elude me whenever I used to run. Yeah. In these small moments, when you think no one else is watching, you give us visible evidence of the quality of your character and affirm that you are truly the right person to lead our community forward. So, on behalf of all the faculty and staff at MKA, I want to offer you our support and guidance. It's clear from the number of guests in the room today that you already have incredible people in your life to guide and assist you. You have a large family who love and support you, friends, former colleagues, a dedicated board of trustees and administrative council, former students, to help you every step of the way. But maybe your largest and newest group of supporters is the other group that's sitting out here today, the faculty and staff of MKA. I was so gratified to hear you speak of "we are MKA" and your expectation that we're all working together, because each one of us wants nothing more than to be a resource and a rock for you. We have a vested interest in your success. If you succeed, we all succeed. We know that you're here for us, and we want you to know that we are here for you. We want to help you, as the 5th head of our school, shape the future of MKA and take what is already an outstanding institution into one that reaches the highest of heights, a dream for our school that you have also shared with me. I hope that you will take your gravity, generosity of soul, sincerity, earnestness, and kindness to open yourself to what we have to offer, so that we can all have a hand in creating the singular school you envision. I'm turning a little bit here. Trust us. Rely on us. Listen to us. We won't let you down because we believe in you. Thank you. And welcome.
So I think we can all agree that our future is bright. We have a lot to live up to with respect to the people who have come before us. We have a lot to do. We have high aspirations. Nigel Furlonge will lead us forward to fulfill our promise on our mission. The MKA seal, right there, it's the little one. I don't know why it's the little one, but it's the little one. The seal reflects many of the sentiments and ideas we have shared today. The rising sun symbolizes a new beginning and shines on the torch of knowledge. The palm leaves symbolize achievements, and the 3 arrows represent the 3 schools merged into MKA. I'd like to thank all the folks today who made it possible, Kim Saunders and her team, Lila Perkins and her team, Maria Gilmartin and her team, sound and tech folks that made this a beautiful ceremony. Before we close, I would like to invite Logan, Lucas, and Wyatt to the stage, if you wouldn't mind. And for the other furlongs, I have, I'm not sure what the sizes, I have some fabulous t-shirts. You do that one first. You guys can swap the sizes. The Furlong 5. Thank you all, and we are so glad that you're a part of our community. Thank you. Everyone have a lovely and safe weekend. Appreciate you coming.
Fish in the sea, you know how I feel. River running free, you know how I feel. Blossom on the tree, you know how I feel. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life for me, and I'm feeling good. Dragonfly out in the sun, you know what I mean, don't you know? Butterflies all having fun, you know what I mean. Sleep in peace when day is done, that's what I mean. And this old world is a new world and a bold world for me. Yeah, yeah. Stars, when you shine, you know how I feel. Scent of the pine.